What's happening, YouTube? The Clippers had a pretty intense battle against the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers, like in the first half, they were pretty much, starting off really strong. Everybody making their shots, everybody doing their thing. Nick Batum was out due to health and safety protocol, that is, in my opinion, a pretty big blow to the Los Angeles Clippers because Nick Batum, he has that versatility in him. He has a nice corner three shot, plays really great defense, can guard multiple position, and pretty much he's a really good versatile player, and pretty much he's long, that causes him to be really versatile. So that was a pretty big blow for the Los Angeles Clippers. Hopefully Nick Batum can come back as soon as possible. But however, Luke Kennard did. He returned to the. But however, Luke Kennard, being rusty because he was out due to COVID, he pretty much went. It was definitely not his night at all. He went like 2 for 9 for his field goal percentage, which is like, I mean, it's his first game back, so hopefully Luke can pretty much like get back to what he's usually is, like a certified sniper. But again, the Clippers pretty much fought really hard. But the third quarter and the fourth and then the overtime, Nikola Jokic, he just erupted, and the Clippers, we were really fighting back. Like we were really fighting back. Like, and Avika Zubac, big shout outs to him. He went off as well too. He was playing like he played like an all-star tonight. He had 32 points, and pretty much he didn't even shoot a three at all. He was literally like being a really great post-up big. Pretty much his hook shot was pretty darn good. Like it was. I just wish Zubac could always play play somewhat like this every single game. Like always making shots, getting 15 points, 20 points a night, and all the stuff. It'll be really great. And he did play pretty good defense. Unfortunately, he wound up like getting 5 fouls. So that's why during overtime, Zubac kind of had to be more on a conservative spectrum on a defensive end. One thing Zubac did really good though is he did on one play when he was dribbling from half court. He literally drove to the basket like a kind of like how a point guard would do it, and I found out that was a really wild play because considering it was Ivica Zubac and and Zubac, he brought nothing but good excitement tonight. Reggie Jackson, look, what I've said in the past videos, one thing I said, when Reggie Jackson is on, he's on, and that's what the Clippers fans would love to see Reggie Jackson do. Like that's what I would love Reggie to do. Just just pretty much, make shots, get buckets, and go off. And he was actually being a pretty good leader, in my opinion, because he kind of called out some plays, especially for Vika Zubac. He was like kind of like the pick and roll. They were like the pick and roll type of guys, and then just gave the ball to Zubac. Zubac made a nice post. Reggie, he switched out shots. He drove in the baskets. He was making all types of shots. Reggie Jackson, Action Jackson, you're a beast. Big shout out to Reggie Jackson. And all of our players pretty much they contributed pretty well too. Like even Eric Bledsoe, he did pretty good like in the third quarter in my opinion because he low key kind of bailed us out. Like he scored like 8 points within like the last few minutes for the third quarter. So props to Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Boston. My man Brandon Boston. He was killing it as well too. I believe he had 16 points. He was making some nice threes. He was, I believe he kind of finished strong in the basket as well too. Brandon Boston always, he always plays defense, and he got like 4 rebounds, which is that's a really big plus in my opinion for especially for a guy like Brandon Boston because Brandon Boston he's an all around type player and he is just really smooth with the game in general. And again, he's going to be a Clipper for life, at least hopefully. And then let's see any other players that I could cover for that is on the Clippers right now. Justice Winslow, we get to see him play a bit. He didn't really do too much in my opinion, but he wasn't like the worst. But he did make some free throws, which is that's what a lot of us would are pretty much dreading in general because remember that one miss that he did against the Oklahoma City Thunders. But yeah, and then also a big factor on how the Clippers lost the game is just not how Luke Kennard played because Luke Kennard was on more on the rusty side, but the refs in my opinion they were pretty suspect. They called really weak petty fouls and one play when Nikola Jokic was like pretty much hugging Zubac, the refs called a foul on Zubac, I believe. Then, or yeah, they did call and one on, and then Jokic had went to the free throw line, which is that's a big red flag. And then another red flag is supposedly like when the Nuggets were like I believe going crazy and all this stuff, and then I believe the commentator said it was supposed to be a technical foul. So that was another big red flag for the officiating tonight. And then now there's some more players that came to my mind that I could talk about. And Amir Coffey, he brought a lot of hustle tonight. I believe he played pretty good defense. He made some shots. It wasn't too much, but he he pretty much was. He gave it his all as well too. Of course, he didn't score like 15 or 20 points, but now like Amir Coffey, like pretty much opening my eyes on towards his game. He was hustling and bringing some energy as well. So again, Coffee Man may have not dropped 20 points, but he he did do pretty solid in my personal opinion. Terrence Mann was another like a little bit of a disappointment in this game. Like in the last minutes though, like he did hit some big moments and all this stuff, and he did he didn't do too bad on efficiency, but I feel like he kind of hesitates a little bit too much. Like I remember like when Reggie Jackson just gave him like a wide open three, Terrence Mann just decided to slash and pretty much just resulted into Terrence Mann shooting the ball late. Like if I were Terrence Mann, just shoot the ball because you're pretty much wide open and you're a capable 3-point shooter. And pretty much had he had he shot it and had the shot went in, the Clippers would have won the game. But shout out to Aaron Gordon as well too. He pretty much hit a game-winning shot against us, and that was a pain. That was just a pain. And Jokic, he pretty much just erupted. He dropped 49 points, a 49 points triple double. He was just. I know Jokic is definitely not one of my favorite players. He pretty much is pretty much like like what to say salty. I'm pretty salty about Nikola Jokic over what he did in the Mickey Mouse tournament, and pretty much Jokic did I don't know what the rest were thinking. Literally hugged Zubac and then called a foul on Zubac. That made little to no sense, to say the least. But again, Clippers were missing the man. Excuse for my hiccup, but they were literally missing Nick Batum. And then we pretty much Like Clippers, man, we just kept getting injured and injured and all the stuff, and then, but pretty much like they brought in spirit, and we literally almost beat the Denver Nuggets. Like, can you just imagine if like what one the last play that that the last 2 seconds that Tyloo like tried to draw up, or I don't know if it was drawn up by Tyloo, but basically Reggie Jackson, that half court shot was so close. I mean, it was incredibly close, like really darn close. But imagine if that went in, I will literally be so stoked. But again, it is what it is, and let's hope we could start sparking some fire and get some winning streaks and all the stuff. I don't know. I do not know who do we face next game, but supposedly it's all gonna be road games. And let's hope Clipper Nation we could like I said, pull it off and get some wins. Try to avoid the plans and all the stuff. And we showed a lot of signs this game. So I just want to say good night, Clipper Nation, or have a great day if you're watching this during the daytime. And Clip Nation on top.